Hi, I'm Kuda from Solar Pulse, and today I want to talk about the do's and don'ts of your solar system. It is important to understand the weather patterns and changes that happens around solar. And solar is something that get affected. Already we know solar operated around between 15 to 25% in terms of generation from your efficiency from your solar panels. So it basically means that when it's cloud cover, your solar array will drop the generation most depending on the cloud cover that is available. Maybe it can draw down to 5%, 15%. So it's very important to understand the seasons, the change of environment, and you are able to be in a position to protect your system from shutting down on you, and also to protect your system for longevity. So now the first thing that we want to talk about, don't overuse your solar system. What do you mean by that? What we basically mean is that be in a position to understand the change of seasons, and you do what is called load management. Load management will help you to make sure you don't get into the dark when you need the power the most. In most cases, you want your power at night. For example, you have a smaller array, you have a small battery bank. What you want to make sure is during the day, when it's cloudy, you reduce the amount of load that you are operating, so that whatever is being generated by your solar panels is fed straight into your battery for usage at night. And come evening time, you don't want to be running everything that you usually run whenever you've got full sunlight. You also need to regulate and control the load that you're running at night, because in most cases what then happens is that because of the intensity that would have dropped down, most probably your battery is not fully charged to 100% where you expect to run all the loads that you usually run. So make sure you apply load management whenever there's cloud cover. That will help you against those inconveniences whenever that happens. We've had situations where clients forget to regulate their load. They expect the solar to give a miracle, but in this case it's important to have that protection mechanism. Don't undersize your solar system. It's important whenever you're sizing a system or you have an expert to design a system for you, understand that you have those cloud moments, you have those moments when it's raining and the solar is underperforming, and maybe there are power cuts, and the only thing that sustains you through those periods is your solar system. So making sure it's correctly sized in view of those dynamics in place, that's the only way you can avoid getting inconvenience. You'd rather have more battery bank storage for a holdover or autonomy, and you would rather have more solar panels to make sure when it's cloudy, at least it's sufficient enough to be able to recharge the battery in that short space of time that you may have during the daytime. So that is something that you may need to look at. If you already have an existing system, it has now become easier to modulate your system. You can continue to build up your system until it reach the capacity that you want, that allows you comfort, that make sure you don't face any frustrations whenever there are power cuts. You also need to make sure you have you have support. What we are talking about support is a backup generator in case of those long rainy periods. You have a time, maybe it's raining for an entire week, it's pitch black outside, there's no solar that is being generated, and your batteries get drained to the lowest. And the moment your battery get drained to the lowest, it's difficult to make sure you to boost them up to full. So in most cases you have this frustration that happens, especially in the rainy period. So you'd rather have that support, your backup generator that you can kick in, you power it for a couple of hours to make sure your battery is fully charged, and you're able to use that generator to power the other loads until that season has passed. So it's important to look at those things. But if you're not looking forward to have a generator, maybe you are someone who is pro green, then you'd rather look at making sure you size up your system to the biggest size possible that allows you to be covered whenever it's cloudy. Also make sure you have your system monitored regularly. Now I think we are living in the age of technology, and most of the inverters are on remote monitoring. So you should be in a position to monitor your inverter remotely from anywhere in the world. and see what usage you have and be in a position to control these loads. And you also have now Internet of Everything, where you can plug in your fridge on something that you can remotely switch off your fridge, and all this sort of technology that can allow us to make sure you are able to control your load, especially if you're absent from your property. So these are some of the critical areas to look at as you face cloud cover, and make sure you cover yourself so that you don't find yourself frustrated. From us, it's Solar Pulse.